Okay, so 3.5, the Algebra of Functions, Day 1. In this video, you will see adding and subtracting functions. So what you see on your screen here, obviously we have the addition here, we have the subtraction here. That's what you're going to see in this video, adding and subtracting functions. So let's start. Very, very simple. To add fractions, when I write f plus g of x, understand that it means the same thing as taking f of x plus g of x. Same deal with subtraction. When you see f minus g of x, understand that what it means is that you take f of x and you subtract g of x. Very, very, very simple. So let's take a look at some examples. Example 1, I give you f of x and g of x. There are those two functions. Take a look, f of x right there, g of x right there. It says to find a new function rule for h. Alright, what the heck does that mean? Well, if you look below at letter B, I'm telling you that h of x, which is the new function rule for h, what you should do to find h of x, which is the new function, you're going to take f minus g of x. Okay, so think about the definition that we had on the front. To do subtraction, I take f of x minus g of x. So f of x was right here. G of x is right here. So take f minus g of x. Again, in your notes, I would have you put, look, when you're doing this, always put them in parentheses and then kind of go from there. You're taking one function minus the other function. All right, so from here, think about it. I can combine like terms to get my new function rule. H of x equals x squared minus 7x plus 9. Be careful, technically you're distributing this negative. That's why it's plus 9 and not minus 9. Okay, so letter B. I'm guessing you're going to need a little bit of a refresher here. How to find the domain of functions. Well, in finding the domain, we had two problem areas. Do you remember what were the two problem areas when it came to the domain? I thought it was important enough that I should write them down for you. Two problem areas when it came to the domain. One was that the denominator could not equal 0. 2 was that the radicand, remember that's what's inside the square root, has to be greater than or equal to 0. So those are our two problem areas. If you look at your function, so I'm looking to determine the domain of this function right here. Do I have a denominator? Do I have a square root? I'm answering no to both of those questions, and therefore the domain is all reals. Understand that what this means is that I could plug in any number that I wanted wherever I see an x, and I'm going to get an answer out. Okay, so that's what that means. You could plug anything that you want in for x. So letter C, I ask you, well, find h at 3. Think, I know 3, I know this is an x value. So when I try to find h at 3, I think what I'm going to do is plug in a 3 wherever I see x. Again, same deal. Put them in parentheses when you plug things in. Solve that. You should get an answer of -3. Okay, so we started with subtracting. Let's take a look, next one, at addition. Okay, so letter A, find a new function rule for h of x. Well, I'm telling you that what I want you to do to find h of x, I want you to take f plus g of x. Okay, seems pretty simple enough. So, I take f plus g. Notice, no like terms there, so voila, that's done. Alright, so letter B, determine the domain of h of x. Alright, so this one, not going to be all reals, because I know what's causing me. Think about this. Do I care about that x squared? Is it a square root? Is it a denominator? No. So I can plug anything I want in there. I'm going to get an answer out, no big deal. But here is what's causing me some anxiety. I know that square root, inside that square root, can't be negative. So how did we solve to try to find the domain of that function? Well, I think what we did is we took the inside of the square root and set it greater than or equal to 0. When I solve for x, add 2 to both sides, I get x is greater than or equal to positive 2. I know to write the domain, anytime I have an inequality, I'm going to put that in interval notation. So think, what would the interval notation for that look like? You should have bracket 2 comma infinity parenthesis. Okay, and then for letter C, it says to evaluate h at 3 and h at -1. So to figure h at 3, so I'm looking at my function rule, which is right here. I'm going to plug in a 3 wherever I see an x. So I get 3 squared is 9. Think square root 3 minus 2 is 1. Square root of 1 is 1. 9 plus 1 is 10. No big deal. Okay. So then h at -1. Plug that in. Uh-oh. I don't think I can plug that in because -1 is not in the domain of the function. So be careful. When you do this step right here, when you do your evaluating, what I would put in your notes is to make sure, before you do this, make sure that those numbers are in the domain of your function. If it's not in the domain, you're not going to solve that problem. Okay, so it looks like there's your addition and subtraction. So far, so good, hopefully. And we'll kind of pick it up, see how it goes. Good job.